What up, guys? Alchemist, and I got something nice for you. And I gotta say, Gifted Conviction has evolved. It got even better than actually what it already was with the new stat system. It's kind of insane. If you peeked inside the beginning footage of me using the build -40 in master difficulty, having stats make this build kind of OD. And the main stat to make it OD is the class ability stat. I'm rocking 200 class ability stat in this build. If you peeked in the early footage, there was a time I was finna die, had red health, but because I popped my class ability, I got a 40 plus overshield for my health bar. So even though my health was in the red, I had an overshield, and the overshield stays on for 5 seconds. And during them 5 seconds, once the overshield went away, my health was already back to being completely full again. So this makes this build even more busted, just knowing the fact whenever you pop Ascension, it's a get out of jail free card. You're not gonna die. You're just too safe. You're not gonna die. If you don't know what Get the Conviction do, Get the Conviction make it that whenever you jolt a target, you get resistance. Okay, resist can go up to ×4, and I believe at 50% damage resist. So as long as you pop an Ascension or Tempest Strike or using a weapon that does jolt, you will get a stack of resist. It can go up to ×4. Whenever you apply jolt again, it does continue the timer. So you can keep that 50% damage resist the whole time. Also too, whenever you pop Ascension and Tempest Strike, it put out explosive bombs that also jolt enemies. So just give y'all a good example. Ascension, it throws some bombs, and the bombs hit somebody, they get jolted, as you just seen. Okay, so it's easy to get the resist. I just did one Ascension and got ×3 resist. As long as you're doing a jolt on a different target, it's considered a different instant of jolt, which gives you a resist stack. Okay, so in this build, the weapons are very flexible in this build. In your primary slot, you want to use a stasis weapon. Doesn't matter what the stasis weapon is, whatever you prefer. It can be freaking Wicked Implement, it can be Scepter, it can be a legendary, stasis sidearm. Whatever stasis weapon you love. I'm using this sidearm because it has Swashbuckler on it and Ryan Stiller. So if I kill a frozen target, I get Frost Armor and Swashbuckler. Because I'm going to be doing Tempest Strike in this build and Combination Blow, I'll have max damage on this sidearm to just, keep moving around in the air and stuff, shooting enemies and killing them like y'all seen in my footage, right? Arc weapon can be whatever you want as well, as long as it does jolt. So I'm using Dead of Kindness, hit hard, always been a go-to weapon. Got Volt Shot on it, so I can always spread jolt and get times resist. Again, any instance that give jolt gives you a resist. If I do jolt on a take your enemy, applying that jolt, I get resist. As you can see, resist ×2. So that's why you want to rock a weapon that does jolt. It can be jolt and feedback, Volt Shot, or exotic that does jolt, like Delicate Tomb, which is a great fusion rifle exotic to use with this build to make even more iron traces in this build. Your heavy can be whatever you want. I went with a stasis heavy so that I can proc the Frost Armor and the artifact mods. So that's what I went with. But you can use whatever heavy you want. It can be Fanatics Augur, Microcosm, whatever you want to be. Winter Bite. Winter Bite will get buffed up with Combination Blow. So you can go Winter Bite and just swing on enemies with the extra resist you got in your build. So do not be afraid to use Winter Bite as well in this build. Artifact mod. The only artifact mod you want to make sure you have on is Fever and Chill. Fever and Chill say rapidly getting precision hits will give you Frost Armor with a stasis weapon. So they don't tell you, but in the game, in actuality, it don't have to be precision shots that give you Frost Armor. If you rapidly get kills, that man's scared. You rapidly get kills, you'll get Frost Armor. So I'm finna get 3 kills. Whenever a game say rapid kills, it usually means 3, okay, in this game. So I'm finna get 3 kills with this sidearm. You gonna see I get Frost Armor. I'm gonna get no precision shots. Boom, Frost Armor. So just getting rapid kills, at least 3, will give you Frost Armor with that mod on. That's why I say you can rock whatever stasis weapon that you love. It can be a special weapon or primary. Whatever a stasis weapon that get kills for you very quick, you can use that. You don't have to worry about having to get precision hits. Okay, so that's the first mod you gotta have in this build. Second mod is Frost Renewal. When you have Frost Armor on, if your health get red in critical state, You'll do a freeze post around you that freeze all the enemies around you and give you and your teammates frost armor. I think it immediately gives you ×5 frost armor, but I could be wrong. It could be just 3. But it does give you frost armor. So this adds more resistance in your build. We will be stacking frost armor in this build with the resistance from Gifted Conviction, making you even more tankier in this build. Other than that, you can throw on Frigid Glare if you have on a stasis weapon that get precision kills. You're freezing enemies. And then if your weapon got Rhyme Stealer, you kill a frozen enemy, you get frost armor. So Frigid Glare is another mod you will have in this build. Other than that, everything else is up to you when it comes to what you want to have on in this build. I got Shield Crusher on because M5 make that my grenades come back quicker. So, and then I got frost armor for melee to come back quicker. So I have Shield Crush as my other mod in the artifact. Subclass, you want to be rocking Gathering Storm. Gathering Storm does jolt. So this pours more to the jolt fantasy. You throw the super out, it jolt the enemies. You get some resistance going from Get to Conviction, and you keep playing your game as this is out there jolting the targets, right? We got on Gambler's Dodge, you get our melee back whenever Shade Step. We got on Combination Blow. Combination Blow now works with Tempest Strike. So if you get 3 stacks of Combination Blow and then use Tempest Strike, it does a lot of damage, okay? So, just to show you guys, if I go out here and get these melee kills, right? That's 3 stacks. And then if I just change this to Vanguard, clear this board, pop this real quick. Let me clear the board again. If I do Tempest Strike, if I do Tempest Strike, you'll now see the Tempest Strike did 4,397, right? 4,397. Now, if I take this away, do that again. Now, if I do Tempest Strike again without the Combination Blow, it does 2,000. It went up because of the joke, but you're saying it did 2,000 something. So, yeah, Combination Blow does increase Tempest Strike damage now. So that's why you're rocking Combination Blow instead of Disorienting Blow that does give both charges and Amplified and Blind. But you can go with Disorienting Blow if you don't care about the Combination Blow loop. But yeah, you got that in this build that you can loop in this build now to make Tempest Strike even more damage. Post Grenade, Strong's Grenade. I don't recommend any other grenade. Maybe Flashbang if you want to blind enemies, but Post Grenade, best option here, okay? Tempest Strike, like we said, do a lot of damage. Tempest Strike jolt enemies and go send out the bombs that's jolt enemies now because Gifted Conviction is on. And in the bottom text, it said defeating jolted targets give us stacks of bolt charges. That's what we want. We want bolt charges as fast as possible to strike lightning down. Bolt charge is still super strong in this sandbox without the other artifact we had from last season. It's still super strong. So bolt charges is amazing. We want to get that as quick as possible. We got Ascension on. It gives an amplify whenever we want for that damage resistance and make the enemies miss their shots. But also too, jolted targets give us our resist from Get to Conviction. So that's what we want. I cannot recommend any other aspect in this build because it's kind of redundant. Flow State is redundant. We don't need to get amplified from killing jolted enemies because you get amplified from killing enemies quick with arc weapons. If you kill arc debuff targets, you get amplified. And we have Ascension that gives amplified as well. So Flow State is just very redundant. We will not be rolling on the ground. We will be popping Ascension non-stop in this build. So you don't need Flow State at all. And in Lethal Current, we're not here to be rolling and punching enemies for damage resist. We don't need that, okay? And then the second part about punching the jolted target blind still, we don't need that either, okay? We're not trying to blind. We're trying to kill, okay? We're here to kill, not blind. We got Spark of Frequency on, so melee hits making that we reload quicker and increase stability on our weapons. But we're not here for that part. We're here for the second part where it say why amplified, you gain increased stacks of bolt charges from all sources. We want them bolt charges to stack up very quick in this build to do some devastating damage to all enemies, right? We go on Spark of Discharge, where basically arc weapons give us Ion Traces and collecting Ion Traces give us bolt charges. So yeah, you're gonna be getting Ion Traces a lot in this build. There's rarely a cooldown Ion Traces, so the more you make, the more ability energies you get for all your abilities. Ion Trace is very busted, so the more you produce these, the more you can spam your abilities non-stop in this build. We got a Spark of Shock so that our post grenade does jolt, just to keep that uptime on our resist from Get to Conviction. But if you feel like your uptime is already good enough, you can by all means take off Spark of Shock and put on Spark of Beacons. If you're running a special arc weapon like Indebted Kindness, Any kills you get, and even arc heavy as well, any kills you get will do a blind explosion and blind the enemies in the room. So if you want to be a little bit more compy, you can put on Spark a Beacon instead of Spark a Shock, and using Dead of Kindness or Delicate Tomb and stuff, and blind the enemies in the room so they can't fight you back. We got on Spark of Resistance for more DR in this build. Damage resistance, if you don't know what DR means. So we got Spark Resistance on for more DR in this build. We will be within 15 meters of 3 enemies. So we're going to get that extra 15%, I believe, DR in this build. And then lastly, we got Spark and Ions on. We're basically defeating a jolted target, which they're always going to be jolted. And defeating targets with Bolt Charge, create an Ion Trace for us to keep more uptime on our abilities. Okay. Again, the stats you want: 200 class ability in this build to be unkillable. And then you want to put at least 70 melee in this build. If you go above 70, then you'll just be making your Tempest Strike do more damage, which you can 100% do. Other than that, that's all you want in this build, and then you can just put some stats into like grenade or weapon stat if you want your grenade to come back quicker, or you want to do more damage to your weapons. By all means, you can take that route, okay? Now, mods. We got on Special Ammo Finder because I'm rocking a special weapon, so just making that we get special ammo easier. We got Arc Siphon on, Harmonic Siphon, so that we can make ores for our arc kills. And then we got on Thermodynamic Siphon, so we get some ores from our stasis kills and solar kills if you're rocking a solar heavy or something, right? To work with cauterize darkness in the artifact. We got on Impact Induction, so that whenever we cause them for our power melee, Tempest Strike, or Combination Blow, we get some grenade cooldown, grenade energy. We got Focus Strike to do it for class abilities, and then we got on Momentum Transfer so that we get some energy for our grenades. Some energy for our melee whenever we do grenade damage. Chest piece, we got on Resist mods. Make sure you have on at least one melee damage resist mods. Will always be within 15 meters of enemies, could pop an ascension and stuff. We will be close in quarters with enemies in this build, so you might as well get that extra damage resist with your other damage resist mods. You don't want to do two copies of like Arc or Solar or Void, because you do have dimension returns. So you stack melee damage resist with solar, you get way more damage resistance compared to putting on 2 solar resist mods on. Just a little cool effect for you guys. Lead piece, we got on Arc Weapon Surge to buff up the damage on Arc Weapons, and Stasis Surge, buff up them for our Stasis Weapons by 11%. And then we got better already, so whenever we pick up an orb, it just make our health star regen immediately. And then class item, we got on Reaper, popping an Ascension non-stop. Might as well get an orb whenever we kill an enemy with our weapons. And then we got Distribution on, we pop Ascension near 3 enemies within 15 meters. You're going to get ability energy for all your abilities. And then we got Bomber One, so whenever we pop our Ascension, we get some grenade energy. Again, Ion Trace is going to be pouring out non-stop, so you will be getting your abilities back very quick in this build. Like, very quick, okay? And that's the build. Hope you guys enjoyed this build, but I do have a warning in this build. A warning. Do not, even though I got this outfit on for drip, do not use the Bushido fit with this build. I repeat, do not use the Bushido outfit in this build. It counteracts with each other. If you use the Bushido 4-piece where you get resist from shooting enemies, for some reason, when you shoot a bow, for example, you get that ×1 resist. If you have ×4 resist on from Gifted Conviction and then you shoot that bow at an enemy, it will cancel out the ×4 resist and immediately give you ×1 resist, which is worse. So sadly, I don't know why that's in the game. Bungie fixed that. It would have been cool. I can just shoot enemies to keep ×4 resist on non-stop with a bow. But yeah, it's a horrible combination. Do not put on the Bushido outfit with Gifted Conviction. You will be hoeing yourself, okay? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this build. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys always. And until next time, stay up.